let's talk about Dragon Ball Super Manga Chapter 42, the end of the Tournament of Power arc and the beginning of the Galactic Patrol Prisoner Arc in the Dragon Ball Super manga. Now, in the past, I've had some copyright issues a couple months ago with Shueisha, and while I'm working those issues out, the last few manga chapter reviews have been more so discussions with not really any editing. So I want to try something new here this month with Dragon Ball Super Manga Chapter 42, in that I want to do sort of like a live review of the manga with you guys. Now, over on the Dragon Ball Z French website, db-z.com, they have all of the manga up. Now, unlike normal reviews and things that I've done in the past, these are not scans. These are actual photographs that were taken and, of course, uploaded. So, because of that, we're going to go ahead and try doing it this way this month here in my Dragon Ball Super manga chapter review. So I want to go through some of this stuff here and kind of briefly outline, what I think and what I see. Let me go ahead and get started here. So, of course, I've never done a live manga review before. It's not really live. I'm recording the video, but, it's not going to be, like, edited. It's going to be right, recorded from the screen. So, we pick up where we left off last month. We have Jiren fighting Goku and Vegeta. Presumably 17 has blown himself up, which is not, you know the truth. That's not the case. And Frieza's in there somewhere. The first part of this manga chapter really does focus a lot on Jiren's backstory as told through Vermouth, Belmont. And he talks about how, let me show you guys the panel right here. He's talking about how, basically, he was friends with Jiren's master, Gichen, which is last month they revealed that his martial arts master was named Gichen. And he talks about how a long time ago he actually became a god of destruction. Talk about Vermouth, because he did not like Gichen's sappy ideas about teamwork. And Gichen is, of course, a pun on the word kitchen, and Vermouth was inspired by him, not in a good way, of course, to be a god of destruction. And he talks about how Gichen wanted Jiren to realize the importance of teamwork, but before that happened, he got killed by the demon. And it actually says in the manga chapter, Mamono, which was revealed last manga chapter. So, again, I'm still seeing people leave comments saying, what if Broly killed Jiren's parents? What if it's Goku Black? And people are still leaving these comments when it's already been explained 2 chapters in a row that Jiren's parents and Jiren's master were killed by a demon, a demonic force that has not been revealed yet in Dragon Ball Super, may never get revealed, or maybe someday it will. Either way, Marcerita talks about that because he was a demon and not just an evil guy, he couldn't be resurrected. And it's interesting because that was actually, somewhat old school lore in Dragon Ball. In the old Dragon Ball series, they say that if you get killed by a demon, your spirit will never rest in peace. That's something that was kind of quasi-retconned by Toriyama in Z, but it's something that I guess is coming back in a weird way here by saying that because it was a demonic entity, he couldn't come back, which is a rule that has never really been established before. If you get killed by a demon, being wiped away permanently is not something that we have seen before, but could it be possible that a future Dragon Ball Super arc may have a demon show up, and if the rules state that a real demon, I mean like an actual demonic force beyond anything we've seen before, what if you get killed by a demon and you can't come back? And that's how they build drama for an arc, that now if somebody dies, they cannot come back. That's a good way to really build some new drama for the future. But I don't want to get too ahead of myself here. Let's focus on the manga chapter. So it's Goku and Vegeta versus Jiren. The majority of the fight, as you see here, Jiren is fighting them both off. Goku's already done Ultra Instinct. Vegeta's already pushed himself to his limits. These guys are pretty much fighting on sheer will at this point. But also Jiren himself is tired. And I do want to give Toyotaro a shout out as far as his artwork goes. Look at the artwork in this manga chapter. I really like the detail here with the veins in the head, the buffing, the buffness, not buffiness, the buffness of Jiren. I actually really enjoyed looking at this manga chapter because Toyotaro actually tries new things here as far as the way he sets up his panels. And it's one thing, with reading the manga, how Toyotaro's been kind of safe. He plays it safe. In fact, in an interview with Toriyama that was conducted sometime last year, I think, he straight up said that he feels that Toyotaro is plays it too safe. He writes the manga too safely with the way he structures it, and I can tell that it seems like Toyotaro may have taken that to heart and is really applying more creativity in this manga chapter, because I really did enjoy reading it. This was the most enjoyable manga chapter that I've read in quite some time, since probably the late Trunks arc, I would say, last year. You know, here we have Goku and Vegeta preparing a big double ki blast, and I love this shot of Jiren like a zombie just coming up and, you know, just straight up just coming at him, you know what I mean? And so Goku and Vegeta together fire this combo Kamehameha Gallic gun combination, as you can see right there. Huge ki blast, kind of like the one that is in the Broly trailer for Broly Trailer 3, and coming right at Jiren. But of course, Jiren, with the power he has left, still has enough power to just be able to really fight that back and deflect it out. So we see that deflection. They tease again that there might be an injury to the people watching the spectators, but nothing too crazy. You know, just a good explosion. I do like that Toyotaro is using more reaction shots. That's something that he didn't really use in the past here. So here's Jiren with his shirt ripped off now, and you know in Dragon Ball, when your shirt comes off, it's time to get serious. And in this case, what ends up happening is he goes right face to face and knocks Vegeta. Boom. Just look at that. You see the hand there? Boom. Knocks Vegeta completely out. Literally eliminates Vegeta with one hand with his shirt removed. And now we have Jiren versus Goku. And it's funny because in this version, we didn't even get like shirtless Goku against shirtless Jiren in that really epic fight from 129, 130, and 131. This time, Goku's the one that has his shirt on still, and you know, Jiren doesn't. But also, that whole scene where Vegeta gives Goku some of his power, like that whole thing is not in the manga. This version's very different. Now, there are things that I like about this version way more than the anime, and there's things that I don't like. But it's hard to compare because they're different mediums. But I will say this. The artwork in this manga chapter I felt was supremely better than stuff we've seen from Toyotaro in the past few months. So here we have Jiren trying to, you know, Goku's shocked at what happened to Vegeta, so he tries to come in and punch Jiren. It does nothing. Here we have Jiren pushing Goku towards the edge right here, and it looks to be the end, like Goku's in trouble. And then from behind we have Frieza, who has a death ball, a giant death ball, about to hit Jiren with it. And it's just, I love this. I love this shot. This is the stuff, this is what I'm talking about. This is like really feeling like old school Dragon Ball. Jiren and Goku, right? Clashing fists. And then back here in this awesome, like, you know, distance shot, right? From the bottom up, we have Frieza. Look at the way Toyotaro organizes the panels here with like how he has the small thin ones on the left here and the big one in the middle. Again, we're seeing an improvement in this guy's art. Of course, this pose right here with Frieza with the finger up is a classic pose that he used in Dragon Ball Z and the manga when he fought Goku. And he's also on a rock too, which is kind of a throwback to like Namek, you know, when he almost died. So he flings the giant death ball at freaking Jiren, and here it comes. And this is iconic as to how many, not iconic, but epic, excuse me, as to how many pages Toyotaro uses to tell this story about how important this scene is. And it is very important. So the death ball goes right at Jiren. You know, Jiren's ready to you know, stop it, and he ends up starting to block the death ball. Now, while this is happening, Goku comes behind him in the full Nelson German suplex position. This is awesome right here. And he's trying to essentially German suplex Jiren, right, out of the ring. Jiren manages to, after holding off the death ball for what seems to be a few seconds, push the death ball back, but it's not enough for Goku to have German suplexed Jiren back, or full Nelson him back. But here comes Frieza. So it was a setup all along. He's trying to hold Jiren so that Frieza right here can go golden, which he did go golden right there. You can tell by the shading. And he's doing the double fist move he used on Namek, which is in Dragon Ball FighterZ. And Jiren's like, oops. Frieza hits Jiren with the double fist move. Jiren, Goku, and Frieza all go out at the same time. Jiren is stunned, as you can see. It's a throwback to like Namek and the fight with Raditz. And everybody is eliminated finally. And out of a rock comes Android 17. Because the entire time, they didn't do the thing like they did in the anime where they had 17, Frieza, and Goku working together. That wasn't how it was in this version. Instead, you had 17 hiding the entire time and not coming out until they knew for sure that Jiren would be out. So really, the way this is like done, I think, is in a way better because it shows that Universe 7 and Android 17 are way more strategic than they were in the anime. However, the anime version gave us that really epic Goku and Frieza versus Jiren finale where you had like Goku Super Saiyan, Frieza, 100% power like on Namek. You had like the Yuya Takahashi art and the animation, and we didn't get that here at all. The TV version felt way more epic. It felt way more just emotionally driven. But this version was a smarter story because the actual finishing move with Goku sitting there holding Jiren and Frieza doing that double move where he did the death ball and the double punch was brilliant. It was brilliant. And not just that, another big difference, and here we have the eliminations, Universe 7 wins. Not just that, but also we find out that 17 in this version, Android 18 knew, and here she is right there, she knew that 17 was faking it. In the anime version, she thought that 17 really blew himself up, and she was all emotional about it. But it turns out that the entire time, 18 knew. In fact, there's even a joke where 17 says, hey, you're a pretty bad actress, or whatever the case is. And also, another thing that we talk about here is, this was actually a plan, that 17 and Frieza had come up with this plan before any of this happened. The whole thing was a setup, and it worked. And I'll be honest with you, it makes the characters seem smarter. It makes, at the cost of getting that great epic finale that the anime gave us, the manga gave us a little bit of a smarter kind of look to things, and I really liked that. Like, I actually really liked the way they did that. And they talk about how nobody could send 17. Well, it turns out that, 17 talks about he pretended to blow himself up and that he couldn't blow himself up because the bomb in his chest was removed by Krillin. And he talked about how he didn't want to even do it anyways because, he loves his family and whatnot. So Jiren tells Vermouth, let me actually get to that scene right here. Let me show y'all. Right here. So Jiren tells Vermouth and the rest of the Pride Troopers that he's okay with his master not being brought back to life. And he knows that what he lacks, he doesn't really have to ask his master for. So there is some character development here for Jiren. Vermouth says that he says that wasn't the real reason why Jiren wanted to resurrect him. And he tells Jiren to stop blaming himself for his death and that he has to pretty much get over it because Kichen himself doesn't want to come back to life. So that's the scene right here. So we have a interesting, touching moment between Jiren and Gichen here. So pretty much what happens is what you would expect. The Grand Priest is about to wipe away Universe 11. Well, they do wipe him away. Zeno does. But the wish has to be made. And this, of course, gets very rushed. The wish was, of course, the wish that was in the anime, which is to bring back the remaining, universes that were already wiped away. However, in the manga version, there is no mention about the Omni Kings saying they would have wiped out the winning universe if the right wish wasn't made. That is not in this version at all. And I like the fact that Toyotaro removed that. I actually like the fact that Toyotaro removed that. And that's good. I think, again, it makes the characters better. I hate to say it. Well, I don't hate to say it. I'm going to be real with you. The manga has been below the anime for the majority of the arc, but I feel like here, even though the anime felt like it was more emotional, here it just is better written, in my opinion. I think that the manga version of the final couple of chapters of this arc are better written. And of course, they talk about how Vegeta says that Bulma will lend 17 her ship. It doesn't matter. And just like what happens in the anime, Whis does bring Frieza back to life, as you can see right here. The halo disappears, so Whis' abilities to resurrect people without the need for any Dragon Balls is here. It's not gone at all. And then here we have kind of the farewell where Goku says that, 17, you're pretty freaking strong, but you didn't do anything as far as training goes. And they talk about how 17 held down a proper job, unlike the Saiyans. Bulma makes that joke, which was right here, which I thought was kind of funny. And then we have the end of the arc right here. This arc ends, but we're not done with the manga chapters. The beginning of a new arc is right around the corner. It's actually several pages. We're going to get to it. So the narrator says that the 12 universes went back to normal and that there was peace, except that Frieza's alive again, which leads to an event that makes Goku and Vegeta grow even stronger, but that's a story for another time. And that is this event right here, which is Dragon Ball Super Broly. We have Frieza being resurrected, we have Berry Blue here, and we have the recycled art that Toyotaro already drew several months ago of Goku, Vegeta, and Broly fighting. So the events of Dragon Ball Super Broly are not in the manga. The events happened in the continuity of the manga. The events absolutely happened, but they're not here. And that's good because the manga does not spoil, what happens in the Broly movie necessarily, except for the fact that Goku and Vegeta survived. Okay, so I had to make a quick edit here, okay, because there's a possible spoiler when it comes to this story that I want to quickly go over, okay? If you don't want to be spoiled on Dragon Ball Super Broly, I would advise you to not keep this video going because there is one small spoiler. It's not a big spoiler. It's a small spoiler I'm going to get into because I have to get into it because it's part of the next story arc, okay? So you've been warned. Let's get to it, okay? Oh, I clicked the button. I clicked the picture on accident. So I don't want to translate. The next story arc begins with Goku and Vegeta training, and Goku states to Vegeta that he has not been able to use Ultra Instinct since the Tournament of Power. So that, I don't know if you can call that a spoiler for Broly, but it just shows that Goku has not been able to do Ultra Instinct since Tournament of Power, and that's just something that's just the way it is. So, I mean, again, I'm not going to go into any other details about the movie, but that is something that's part of this story, so I had to cover it. And Vegeta says that it's very unreliable, and that's a very unreliable technique, and that they shouldn't be taking any shortcuts. And he says he wants to earn his power the old-fashioned way, which is, of course, by training hard, and that's pretty much what happens here. So then, essentially, what ends up happening is Goku and Vegeta are training together. Bulma arrives and says that Mr. Satan, she got a message from Mr. Satan, and then a mysterious group appeared at his house and is attempting to kidnap Majin Buu. So that's the beginning of the next arc. Vegeta, Goku, and them are like, let's kick into high gear. Okay, so I had to make another quick cut there because I accidentally spoiled something, so I cut that out. We're going to resume where I left off. So there's this Galactic Patrol ship, and they're taking Majin Buu hostage at Mr. Satan's house, and then Mr. Satan pulls out a gun. This Galactic Patrol man right here pulls out a gun, and then what ends up happening is, of course, Mr. Satan is you know what he is. He's pretty much very weak. This guy fires a blast at Mr. Satan, but Goku shows up here to deflect the blast. Goku and Vegeta are there, and they actually explain that Vegeta got there really, really quickly and didn't teleport there with Goku, which I thought was kind of weird. I mean, I guess they weren't that far away from Mr. Satan's place. I mean, these guys can travel beyond speed of light at this point, so that shouldn't shock you at all. So, pretty much what happens is, Goku and Vegeta are there, and they're ready to do their thing. And they start to fight off, the Galactic Patrol guys. You see right here, Goku kicks into action here. He's fighting for Majin Buu. We have some shots right here of some action shots. And then, as weird as this may be, the Galactic Patrolman fires another sort of contraption, I guess you can say, at Goku. And Goku goes down, and Vegeta's shocked. And he comes up behind Vegeta. Somehow he was able to sneak behind Vegeta, who is, again, beyond the speed of light significantly at this point in the series, and knocks out Vegeta. And I just find it hard to believe, unless this guy is like extremely, extremely powerful, which I'm willing to bet he's not, that this guy could have snuck behind Vegeta that fast. Like, maybe Vegeta was just so shocked at what happened to Goku that he didn't sense this guy coming behind him. That's pretty amateur there, Vegeta. But this guy gets knocked out, and then what ends up happening is they wake up on a mysterious spacecraft. Goku does, and there's Jocko. And, of course, we find out that the guy who kidnaps them, the guy with the wacky haircut. Let me show you him again. This dude right here, his name is Maris, and he's the #1 elite patrolman in the entire Galactic Patrol. He's in charge of 104 districts, and Jocko's only in charge of 3. And they have this joke where Jocko's like, I'm a little bit behind him, and that's when they find out how little he actually is in charge of. And Maris, basically, Goku wakes up in this ship. They're actually at the Galactic Patrol headquarters with Jocko, like they're actually at the main headquarters. And we actually are introduced to a couple of new characters, including this guy right here, who is essentially a throwback to an older Galactic Patrol manga that Toriyama did. I will leave a link at the end of this video to my video on that manga, because I've covered that before. I've covered the entire Galactic Patrol Man history, and I think that will help a lot of people with this storyline in case you didn't know, right? So essentially, to summarize the end of the chapter, this is the end of the chapter right here. Maris explains that there's an evil criminal that has escaped from the prison, the Galactic Patrol prison, and the only way to recapture this guy is with the help of the Grand Kaioshin, the Dai Kaioshin, who has been absorbed by Majin Buu. And that's the cliffhanger. So they need Majin Buu to somehow figure out a way to extract the Dai Kaio from him. So that is it. That's the manga chapter. What do I think about this chapter? First of all, I already reviewed the Tournament of Power portion, how I felt about it, things I liked more, things I didn't like more. The art definitely improved. As far as this arc goes, I already love it because, yeah, it is coming off like filler. It is coming off like something that's going to be a short in-between arc. It's not coming off that serious, but number one, I love those arcs because I think Dragon Ball Super works really well serialized in a way, or not serialized, not serialized, episodic in a way, if it's done correctly, if it's done comedically. So I think this arc could work if it's interesting. And then also, the Galactic Patrol stuff has always kind of been filler in the anime, so I can see why some would say it's filler here. But I've loved the concept of the Galactic Patrol, like the Dragon Ball version of the Nova Corps. I love that concept. I love the idea of space cops being in Dragon Ball. And so as a result of that, I am excited. I'm happy that we're going to be going back and exploring the lore of Majin Buu absorbing the Dai Kaioshin, as well as Majin Buu overall being part of the story again, because he's been left out of all these Dragon Ball Super arcs. Pretty much every one except for a couple of small appearances. He really needs to get some more shine, so I like that. Anyways, that is it. That's my full manga review. I had a lot to say. Let me know what you think about the manga chapter, and thank you.